In today's lecture, we will learn the development of surfaces of the solid. So, to learn this topic, first you need to understand what it is. For that, suppose there is a hollow object and that is made up of a thin sheet. So, suppose there is a cylinder and this is hollow and it is made up of a thin sheet. Its height is h and diameter is d. Cut it from one side and unfold the sheet completely. So suppose I am cutting this cylinder from one side, suppose like this, and after cutting it I am unfolding it. Okay, when you are unfolding it, there is no top and there is no base, means it has only lateral surface, and there is no base and there is no top of the cylinder. Okay, if you open it, how it will look like? It will look like a rectangle whose length is pi d and height is h. Okay, then the shape of that unfolded sheet is called development of lateral surfaces of that object or solid. Okay, so what is a lateral surface? Lateral surface is nothing but the surfaces without top and base of the object. Okay, so you can see it is not a projection type of a projection, it is different than that. So what is the difference in projection of solid and development of surfaces of the solid? It is a shape showing the area, means it's a 2D plane drawing, hence all the dimension of it must be 2 dimension. So you can see here also it is the height h and this is length pi d, which is the actual dimensions of the cylinder. So if it is a 2 dimensions, means there will be no dotted lines ever when you are doing the development of the surfaces of the solid. So what is the engineering application of this? So there are so many products or objects which are difficult to manufacture by conventional manufacturing process because of their shape and sizes. Those are fabricated in a steel sheet metal industry by using development technique. There is a vast range of such objects like boiler cells and chimney, pressure vessels, shovels, trays, boxes and cartoons, feeding hoppers, large pipe sections, body part of automotives, ships, aeroplanes, and many more. So, what we will learn in this course, to learn the methods of development of surfaces of different solid, their sections and frustum. Okay, so there are some examples I am showing here. It is your cylinder. I already told you how it will look like when you cut it from one side. It will look like a rectangle. Okay, suppose there is a prism. It is a pentagonal prism. If you cut it from one side and open it, how it will look like? Again, it will look like a rectangle, but there will be 5 surfaces because it is a pentagonal prism and there is a 5 lateral surfaces. So when you open it, it will look like a number of rectangles whose height is h and width of each width of this rectangle is 5s if the side of the base is s. Okay, similarly if you cut the cone and open it, it will look like a sector of a circle. It is a cone, it will look like a sector of the circle. When you draw the rectangle, it is easy to so what is the engineering application of this? So There are so many products or objects which are difficult to manufacture by conventional manufacturing process because of their shape and sizes. Those are fabricated in a steel sheet metal industry by using development technique. There is a vast range of such objects like boiler cells and chimney, pressure vessels, shovels, trays, boxes and cartoons, feeding offers, large pipe sections, body part of automotives, ships, aeroplanes, and many more. So, what we will learn in this course to learn the methods of development of surfaces of different solid, their sections and frustum. Okay, so there are some examples I am showing here. It is your cylinder. I already told you how it will look like when you cut it from one side. It will look like a rectangle. Okay, suppose there is a prism. It is a pentagonal prism. If you cut it from one side and open it, how it will look like? Again, it will look like a rectangle, but there will be a five surfaces because it is a pentagonal prism and there is a five lateral surfaces. So when you open it, it will look like a number of rectangles whose height is h and width of each width of this rectangle is 5s if the side of the base is s. Okay, similarly if you cut the cone and open it, it will look like a sector of a circle. It is a cone, it will look like a sector of the circle. When you draw the rectangle, it is easy to making the rectangle. It is easy to made because it is only need the length and width of the rectangle. But here, what you know is the length of the slant edge and radius or diameter of that base of the cone. From the base or diameter of the cone, you can get the length of this arc, and this length is nothing but this length. If you know these two things, how can you make the sector of the circle? If you know this angle, you can easily make that part. And how can you determine this angle theta? If you know the length of the slant edge and radius or diameter of the base, you can easily estimate theta by this formula r divided by L into 360, where r is the base of the circle, base circle radius, and L is the slant height. Similarly, if you have a pyramid, so like a prism, there will be a number of triangles. If you have a pyramid like this, there will be a number of triangles. When you open it, to make this thing, uh, either you can make it simple like you made here this rectangles, you can also make the triangles, or the easy way to make the rectangle is draw a circle at the base of the pyramid. If you draw a circle and that is passing through these points corner of the base, then it will convert to a cone, and you know how to make the sector of the circle if it is a cone. The first part is the same like you did there was a cone. So similarly you can make the sector of the circle. Now you know the this width of the base. Okay, what you can do here, take this point as a center and this base length as a radius, or arc, and uh, this point as a center, you can mark a arc in this uh, sector of the circle. So there will be a one triangle. Similarly, and this another point you get, again take it as a center and again mark an arc in the sector of the circle. Similarly, you can do it uh, depending upon how many lateral surfaces you have. It is a square pyramid, so there is a 4 lateral surface. If it is a pentagonal pyramid, there will be 5 lateral surfaces. So accordingly, you can cut the arc on the sector of the circle and you will get the development of pyramid. Similarly, if there is a tetrahedron and you cut it and open it, it will look like a 4 equilateral triangles. It is a tetrahedron, and when you cut it, it is your base, and these are the other equilateral triangles. Similarly, if there is a cube, it will look like a 6 squares like this. So similarly, if there is a frustum, so first what you have to do, you have to complete the other part of the cone like this. Now it is like this. So you can assume this is your one cone and this is your another cone. The first cone you have a length L and the other cone you have a length L1. So now you can make the development of this frustum easily. So in the both the case, theta will be remain same because the ratio of the R by L will remain same. Okay, so like this you can easily make the frustum of the development of the frustum of the cone. Similarly, development of a frustum of a square pyramid. So the same way, you have to first complete the other part of the square pyramid. This is your length L and this is your length L1. So you can easily now complete the development part of the square pyramid like this. Okay, in this case, here you can see you don't have to measure the theta also. How? If you cut the arc, first arc here, second arc, third arc, fourth arc, it will automatically uh, gets the end points. So here either you can determine the theta angle or there is no need of measuring the angle theta. Okay, so this is how you can complete the development of the frustum of the square pyramid. So now we will see the first example. So in this example it is given that there is a pentagonal prism having the base side 30 mm, axis is 50 mm, is standing on the HP on its base with one side of the base perpendicular to the VP. So from this much of information, what you conclude is you have to make first top view of the solid because it is given that one side of the base is perpendicular to the VP. Okay, and accordingly you have to make the front view of the solid. The other part of the question is it is cut by a section plane inclined at 45 degree to the HP, means it is AIP, auxiliary inclined plane, through midpoint of the axis. Draw its front view, top view, side view, also draw its true shape of the section and development of the surface of the remaining solid. So first you have to make the top view of the pentagonal prism. So this is how you will make the top view, and this is the your one base side which is perpendicular to the vertical plane. Okay, this is your one base side which is perpendicular to the vertical plane, and after that you can get the midpoint of the pentagonal prism, and after that you can make the front view like this. Okay, so from here you can see this is your one edge which will be visible to you, this is your second edge, and this is your third edge, and these two edges will be parallel to each other. Similarly, these two edges will be parallel to each other. Now you have to cut the solid by a section plane which is inclined to the 45 degree and passing through the midpoint of the axis. So this is how you will cut the solid, and it is cutting the solid at this edge, at the at this edge also, and this edge also. Means it is cutting the solid at the all the edges of the solid. Okay, so here I am naming the points like a dash, b dash, c dash, d dash, and e dash. I am naming the edges like a dash, b dash, c dash, d dash, and e dash, where the section plane is cutting the solid at the edges. Okay, so similarly I will mark these points a, b, c, d, and e in the top view also. After cutting the solid, you have to remove the part which is nearer to you, and this part is nearer to you when you see it from the top. So this part you have to make with the help of 2H pencil, and this part you have to make it with the help of HB pencil. And in the top view, because it is cutting all the edges of the solid, the whole cut out, so the from the top view it will look like exactly the way it is look like just right now. Okay, so after that you have to make the side view. So as I told you, side view can be on this side also and this side also, um, of the front view, depending upon from where you are looking at the solid. If you look at the solid from here, your side view will be on this side of the front view. If you look the solid at from this side, your side view will be on this side of the front view. So suppose you are looking the solid at from this side, so the same way as I told you, you can draw a line like this, and from all the points you have make the projectors like this. After doing that, you have to make the line at 45 degree, and from this point you have to draw a vertical line like this, and from these points you have to draw the projectors like this. Or in the other way, how you can draw the side view, you can also draw a line at 45 degree from the XY line. After that you can draw the projectors up to this line. Earlier you are making the projectors up to this line. If you draw the line at 45 degree, you have to uh, draw the projectors up to this line, and after that uh, wherever you are getting the points, from that point you have to make the vertical line like this, and horizontal line from the front view. So point E, and this is your point E. So wherever the projectors are cutting, you will get the point E. Similarly, from the point D, this is your line, and from D, this is your line. So this is your point D. The similar way you can get the all the points. Okay, you are looking from the here. So which portion of the solid will be visible to you? So of course, this part, this edge will be visible to you. From top view, you can see this point E and point B. If you look the solid from this side, your edge E and B will be also be visible to you, and the edge D and C is uh, at the back side of the solid. So these two edges will not be visible to you. Okay, so accordingly, I am making the side view. This side edge E, B, and A will be visible to you, and your edge D and your edge D and C will not be visible to you. So after doing that, you have to make the true shape of this section. So for that, you have to draw a parallel line to the section plane. This is your new reference line. After doing that, you have to draw the perpendicular line from this point to the reference line like this. After completing this part, you have to measure the distance of each point A, B, C, D and E from the XY line in the top view. So this is your distance of a point A from the XY line, and this is your line from point A. So from the new reference line, you have to uh, mark the point A at this same distance you are measuring here, and the similar way you can mark the all the other points like this, and this is your true shape of the section. In the next part of the question, it is given that you have to make the development of the surface of the remaining solid. So this is your remaining solid. So for that, uh, I can first draw the development of entire solid always. So this is a pentagonal prism. So it is the development of the entire solid. After doing that, I will name the all the edges in this sequence A, B, C, D, E, and A. This is your face AB, this is your face BC, this is your face CD, DE, and okay. So edge A, you can see only this portion is remaining. Where will be the point A? You can measure the this length and mark it here. Similarly, point B, you can measure it from here. Also, you can measure it from here and mark the point B. Similarly, point C, you can mark it here. Point D, you can mark it here. Point E, and point again A. So what I will do, I will draw the horizontal line like this, and you will automatically get the all the points. After getting the points, I will join them with the help of a straight line like this, and you will get the development of the surface of the pentagonal prism. So this question is completed. In the next question, we already discussed when we are learning the section of the solid. Okay, the same example problem I am taking now. On the only part which is remaining is the development part. Okay, so in the question I am reading again. A square pyramid base 40 mm side, axis 65 mm long, has its base on the HP, and all the edges of the base equally inclined to the VP. All the bases are the equally inclined to the BP. It is cut by a section plane perpendicular to the BP and inclined at 45 degrees to the HP, bisecting the axis. Draw its section top view, side view, true shape of the section, and draw its development part. So front view, top view, and side and the true shape is completed. Now I am drawing the development part. So as I did in the previous question, I will draw the development of the whole solid first. So for that, this is a square pyramid, this is your length. Okay, so I will first draw the slant length, and now I will draw the sector of the circle. After drawing this part, I will measure the width of the base. So here you can see in the top view, after drawing this part, I will measure the width of the base. So here you can see in the top view, you are getting the true shape of the base. So lengths are true length. But in the front view, AB, AD, and CB and CD, this is now showing the true shape of the base, because this line AB, CD, and CB are inclined to the XY line, and whenever any line is inclined to the any plane, at that plane, if you draw the position of the line, you will not get the true shape. So this line is inclined to the VP. So in the VP, you are getting the front view of that line, AD. So on the VP, you are not getting the true shape of that line. Okay. On the opposite side, you can see the line AD is parallel to the XY line in the front view. So it is parallel to the horizontal plane. And in the horizontal plane, you are getting the top view of that line AD. So it is showing you the true shape of the base of the pyramid. So you will measure the width of the base on from the top view. After measuring, or it is also given in the question also. Okay, so you can mark the arc like this, and after getting the all the points, you can draw the whole development of the whole solid. After doing that, you have to measure the distance of the points 1 2 3 4 from the point O. So how will you measure? From 1 O to 1 O to 1, it is very simple. You can measure the distance of the point 1 from the O, and you can mark the on the slant edge OA, and uh, these 2 points 2 and 4. Okay, how will you measure the distance of the point 2 and 4 from the O? You cannot directly measure the distance of these points from the O, because this slant edge OB and OD is not the true slant edge. How? You can see here OD and OB is perpendicular to the XY line. So is perpendicular to the VP. So in the VP means front view of that line will not show you the true shape of that slant edge. So how will you measure the distance of point 2 and 4 from the O? From is perpendicular to the VP. So in the VP means front view of that line will not show you the true shape of that slant edge. So how will you measure the distance of point 2 and 4 from the O? From points, you have to uh, mark it on the true slant edge. Okay, so you have already done that part when you are drawing the front view, top view, and true shape. So these 2 points 2 and 4, you are these 2 points 2 and 4, you have marked it on the true slant edge. Now you can easily measure the distance of these 2 points from the point O, like this, and you can mark it on a slant edge B and D, like this. And similarly, you can measure the distance of a point 3 very easily, like the point 1, and you can mark the point 3 on the OC. And after doing that, join all the points with the help of a straight line, and you will get the development part of the square pyramid. Next question, I am again taking question we have done in the section of the solid. Okay, the same part I am doing here. This is your square pyramid, base side 40 mm, axis 65 mm, has base on the HP with two edges of the base perpendicular to the VP. Okay, so this is your front view, top view, and true shape of the solid. Now we have to do the development part. So again we'll mark the true slant edge. After marking that, I will draw the sector of the solid, sector of the circle, and after drawing that, I will measure the base width from the top view, because the true shape is showing in the top view of the solid, and I will cut the arc on the sector of the circle, and I will make the development part of the whole solid first, and after that I will measure the distance of the point 1 2 3 4 from the point O, and thereafter will be a complete development part of the square pyramid. Okay, so first I have to draw the true length of the true slant edge of the square pyramid. So here you can see the slant edge OB, OA, OB, OC, and OD. All these slant edges are not showing you the true slant edge, because all the in the top you can see line OA, OB, OC, and OD. All the lines are the inclined to the XY line. Okay, so when the line is inclined to the any plane, in that plane, if you see the projection of that line, it will not show you the true shape of that line. So how will you measure the true length of all of the square pyramid? So like I did in the line projection of the line, I will first make the line parallel to the XY line. This is the line OC. I am making the line OC parallel to the XY line. After doing that, I will draw the new front view of the point C. So this is your now point C. After doing that, I will join the point C from the point O. So now you can see your line is now parallel to the XY line. So this line is showing you the true length of the square pyramid. After doing that, I will draw the true length and sector of the circle. I will mark the base side, and it is your development of the square pyramid. Now you have to measure the distance of the point 1 2 3 4 from the point O. As I told you, this slant edges OB, OC, and OD is not showing you the true slant edge. So like I did in the previous question, I will mark this point on the true slant edge. Like this. Okay, so now you can measure the point distance of a point 1 and 4 from here, and you can mark these points on the OA and OD. I can mark these 2 points 2 and 3 on the true slant edge, and I can measure the distance of a point 2 and 3 from here, and I can mark these points on OB and OC like this. After marking all the points, I will join them with the help of a straight line, and this is your development of a square pyramid after uh, cutting it by a section plane. The next one is also the same question I have discussed in the section of the solid. Okay, the pentagonal pyramid base 30 mm side, axis 60 mm long is lying on one of its triangular faces on the HP with the axis parallel to the XVP. A vertical section plane whose HT bisects the top view of the axis makes an angle of 30 degree with the reference line, cuts the pyramid removing its top part. Okay, the same question I am discussing, so I am not going into that. I have already discussed. Okay, so after that we have to draw the development of the surface of the remaining portion. Okay, so this is a pentagonal pyramid. So like I did in the last question, I have to draw the true length of the pentagonal pyramid. So what is the true slant length here? Here you can see in this diagram, okay, your line OA is parallel to the XY line. So this length O dash A dash is nothing but the true slant length of the pentagonal pyramid, because all the other lines is the inclined to the XY line. Okay, so first I draw the O dash A dash. So this is the true slant length. Okay, after drawing that I will draw the sector of the circle, and after that I will mark arcs using the radius of a base width from the top view. Okay, so this is your development of the pentagonal pyramid. After doing that, I will what I have to do, I will I have to measure the distance of these points 1 2 3 4 5 6 from point O, or any other point, any other reference point you can take. So this is your point 1 on the OA. Okay, so your point OA, your slant edge OA is your true slant edge. So you can directly measure the distance of a point 1 from the O dash, and you can mark it here. After doing that, these other points are not on the true slant edge. Okay, so first you have to mark these points on the true slant edge like this, and after that you can easily measure the distance of these points as I discussed in the previous question. Okay, after doing that, you can see here your point 5 and point 6 is not on the slant edge, it is on the base of the pentagonal pyramid. Okay, so point 5 is on the base DE, and point 6 on the base side AE. So how will you measure the distance of the point 5 and point 6 and mark it? So as when the points on the true slant edge, all the points you have to first transfer it to the true slant edge. Similarly, first transfer the point 5 and point 6 on the true base side. This is the true base side. Okay, your true base side you can see only in this top view. Okay, so first you have to transfer these points on these base sides. So how will you transfer it? You can see your point 5 is here, so you can draw the projector in the opposite direction to mark the point 5 on the base side ED. Okay, the similar way you can easily measure the point, you can easily measure the distance of a point 5 either from the point E or point D. Okay, and you can mark it here on the development part. Similarly, you can mark the point 6 on AE, and you can measure the distance of that point from A or point E, and you can mark it on the development part. After doing that, join all the points with the help of a straight line like this and like this. So here you can see you may be confused with the there is a two parts of that developed surface here. But suppose you can see here this line is nothing but OA and this part is nothing but A1. Similarly, here is the line OA and this is the line A1. So suppose if I am the development part and drawing this part, not here but somewhere here. Okay, so suppose I am drawing this somewhere here. Okay, like this. Okay, it is not exactly made here, but suppose if this is a point E. Okay, so now you can see this part will be somewhere here. So now you can see this development part is the continuous, that and those are not broken into two parts. You will see the next question on the development of the solid. Here is the question. A cone 50 mm base diameter and 70 mm axis is standing on its base on the HP. It is cut by a section plane 45-degree inclined to the HP through base end of end generator. Okay, it is cut by a section plane inclined at 45 degree to the HP through base end of end generator. Draw projection, sectional view, true shape of the section, development of the surfaces of the remaining solid. So first we have to draw the front view and top view of a cone. Right? So this is your top view of the cone, and I am dividing the circle into the 8 parts. You can also cut it into the 12 part also. Okay, so now I am drawing the front view of the cone like this. So how to draw the front view and top view of a cone we have already discussed in the projection of the solid, so I am not going into that. Okay, and this is your front view and top view. Now we have to make the side view of the cone. So the side view, in the side view also it will look exactly like it is looking in the front view. Only the only difference is there will be different points in the base. If you look the cone from this side, you can see these points G, H, A, B, C at the front, and this point F, E, and D at the back. Okay, so here these points will be nothing but this point will be G, then so this point end point will be G, this point will be H, this point will be A, this point will be B, this point will be C, and again H, this point F is just behind the point H, so this point will be F also. Similarly, this point will show you point E as well. Similarly, this point will show you point D as well. So like this you can complete this side view. Then you have to cut the cone by a section plane inclined at 45 degree, which is passing through the base end. This is your base and this is your base end of a end generator. This is your end generator and this is your base end, this point. So this section plane is passing through this point and at 45 degree to the horizontal plane. So when you cut this section, then you can see how it is cutting the cone at point A, then this generator at this point, and again on these generators O dash, C dash, G dash at this point, again the other generator O dash, F dash and O dash, D dash at this point, and O dash, E dash at this point. So we will transfer all these points in the top view. So like this you can transfer the points. This is your generator OE, this is your OE, this is your generator O dash, F dash and O dash, D dash. This is your OF and this is your OD. The similar way you can transfer all the points, but this point you can transfer it as I told you in the previous problems. You have to transfer this point on this generator like this, and then you can transfer it to the top view of the cone like this. So the similar way you can transfer all the points in the side view also like this. So this is your generator OE. So where is the OE? This is your O, this is your E. So this point you will transfer on here. The similar way, this is your OF and OD. This is your OF and this is your OD. So these two points will you can transfer it on this generator OF and OD. The similar way you can transfer all the points on the side view. Then after getting all the points, you have to uh, join all the points with the help of French curve. In the earlier problems, there were points and you are joining it with the help of straight line. But here, this is the curve, and for joining the curve, you have to use the French curve. So in the top view also, you get all the points and you join it with the help of a French curve like this. So for drawing the true shape of this section, as you have to draw a new reference line parallel to the section plane, drawing the perpendicular lines to the reference line from the points you are getting after cutting the cone, and then you will measure all the distances of the point from the XY line in the top view, and you can mark it here with the with respect to the new reference line, and you will get the true shape of the section. And again you have to join all these points with the help of French curve because it is a curve. Now the next part is the development of the surface. So this is your cone, and for that draw a sector of the circle. The and for that you have to determine the angle theta. After determining the angle theta, you can easily draw the sector of the circle. And this is your all the surfaces, because I am dividing the circle into 8 parts. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You divide the sector of the circle into the 8 equal parts. So now I will name all the points in the sequence. So this is your point A, because the section plane is cutting the generator OA on point A. So this is your first point. Then again this is your OB. So how will you get distance of this point with from O? Again this generator is not showing you the true shape of the generator. Like it is like in the previous problem, your slant edge is not showing the true slant length. Similarly, here generator OH and OB, and again OC and OG, OF and OD. All these generators not showing you the true shape of the generator. So what you have to do, whatever the points you are getting on this generator, you have to transfer it on the true true generator. So this point you have to transfer on the true generator like this way, and you can now measure the distance of these points with respect to point O. So now you can easily mark these points on the generators OB and OH. Similarly, you have to transfer the, you can transfer all the other points which are on the generators OC and OG, OF and OD. You can transfer it on the true generator, and you can measure the distance from the point O, and you can mark on the generators OC, OD, OF, OE, OG. So after getting all the points, you have to join these points with the help of French curve, because your cone is a curve and all these points is on the curved surface. In the previous problems, the points were on the flat surfaces. Because of that, you were joining those points with the help of a straight line. But here, these points which are cut by the section planes are on the curved surface, and they will, you cannot join them with the help of a straight line. You have to join them with the help of French curve, and after joining that, this these points will give you the curved surface, not the straight line. So this question is now completed. So in the next question, it is given that draw the position of a cone resting on the ground on its base and show on them the shortest path by which a point P, starting from a point on the circumference of the base and moving around the cone, will return to the same point. Okay, and the base of the cone diameter is given 65 mm and axis is 75 mm long. So first you have to draw the front view and top view of the cone, and here circle into the 12 parts, and this is your front view and top view completed. So in the question it is given that there is a point P which is on the circumference of the base. So this is your circumference of the base, and point P is somewhere in the circumference of the base, and it is moving around the cone and return to the same point. And uh, while doing that, it go through the shortest path. Okay, so suppose my point is now somewhere here on this point, point 1. Now it is given that your point P is moving around the cone, means this is your cone. So point P is moving around the cone, getting back at the point 1 again. And how will you decide that the when the point is moving around the cone, it is following the shortest path, right? Because the cone is a curved surface, this surface is curved surface, and you cannot measure the distances on the curved surface easily. So basically what will I do is I cut the cone and unfold that. Means I am making the development of the cone. Like that, I will draw a sector of a circle and I will divide this sector of the circle into 12 equal parts. Like this. So this is a point 1, point 2 up to point 12 and again 12 to 1. Okay. So this is your development of the cone. In this developed part, because it is a flat surface, you can easily tell the what is the shortest path point from point 1 to the point 1. Obviously, the straight line joining these 2 points 1 to 1 is the shortest path between these 2 points. So I will join these 2 points with the help of a straight line. So when the point P is on a 1, it will go through this straight line and again it will come to the point 1. So at generator 2, number 2, or you can say O2, this point is cut this generator on this point. Similarly, on the other generators, point P is passing through, you can see. So what I will do, I will transfer these points on the generators O12, O11, O10 from here to front view of the cone. Like this, I can also transfer these points. This is your point, this is your generator O12 and this distance I can measure and mark on the true shape of the generator. Then from that I can draw a horizontal line, or you can say line parallel to the base up to generator O12. Similarly, from generator O11 I can also mark the point in the front view the similar way from the other generators. Okay, then I will join these points with the help of a French curve. When you transfer all these points on the front view, you can also transfer these points in the top view. And after transferring all these points, you can join these points with the help of a French curve. Remember one point here, that here you are not cutting the section. Point P is moving from point 1 and around the cone toward the point 1. So after drawing front view, top view and development part, you do not have to remove those parts which is above this line, because you are not cutting the section here.